I don't know where my video cut off at, but we're going to keep on going. So we're working with our mineral orange, and we're just shading around this particular mushroom. And we still do not want to press too hard. We just are going right over the top. And I haven't used this paper, but I was recommended, but it seems to be working nicely. I think when I come back and burnish it, it will come together very nicely. So I'm just kind of filling in some of the spots. Now, any place that you want, this would be like a skirt, anything, any place where you want kind of a ruffle. If you, on the very end, if you make it really dark and then bring it up into like a V, it's going to look like a little indentation. So if you're doing a skirt or something like that, that works really nice to make that look like it's got a ruffle or more. I'm trying to think of some other ways that you might use that. We just want to kind of come in here and fill all of this in right now. Like right here, there's a little divot. So you can just kind of color it. Make sure my camera's still going. I guess my phone was full and it decided it had enough. I'm gonna have to check that for now on. So this is kind of like a little divot here. And there's one on this side. And you'll see how when you look back, this one's just a little bit different than the other one, but how many times do you color the same exact picture? Now I just want to kind of fill in a little bit. Don't press hard, because I've got my little divots. See, when you kind of fill in the top, it kind of looks like it'll start looking like it's just kind of rolling over it. I'm going to come up here, because most of the highlight is here and right in here. So this part down here doesn't have a lot of highlight, but it's still a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. And under our little mushrooms, popcorn parts, you're just going to fill this in like that. So I'm going to get to play with the edit machine on my phone, put the two together. So if you notice something just a little weird, it's just me learning how to do this. But I did have both the videos, and I do a Bible study on here and something else. Can't remember what else it had. So I just cleared it out. So how's you guys' day been going? I've been doing okay. I usually take a little cat nap. I did that. Depends how much I do the day before, how long that little nap ends up. Sometimes I'm up until, seems like I haven't been going to bed at all now till after midnight, every night. So, and then you still get up at 6, 7 o'clock. You kind of need that little nap. I found myself a couple times sitting up here, not even really realizing it, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I've ever done some of that kind of stuff. I've never been a person that could stay awake late. Maybe a few times when I was very young, but I always needed my sleep. Even when I was going to school, every once in a while, I just needed a day to stay home and sleep. I don't know why. It's just been how it's been. I wasn't playing hooky. I was tired. Okay, it's starting to take shape. So I'm going to come back in with my medium color, my 1003. This is the Spanish orange. And I'm going to come back over the top of it again. It's so much better to lightly come back over things. And this time I'm coming out. I'm coming out. Coming over. I'm going to invade this little yellow spot a little bit. See how I'm just kind of pulling it out into this little spot. Now I want to leave a nice little highlight because we'll come back over that with yellow. But I'm using just a little bit of pressure. You can see the color starting to fill in. When I started coloring, I never realized how many people color. I didn't realize how fun and relaxing it is. My family has been, we're workers. We always are busy doing something. Used to be gardening and building something, improving something. My daughter even does a lot of carpentry work. She's just a little thing, but she's very good at what she does. So my mother is 90. Let's see, she was born in, I think, 35. She fell this year and broke her hip. She's in a independent place where She's still independent. They do come in and clean her house once a week, I think, and she can go down to the cafeteria and eat with everybody 3 meals a day if she wants. But she's sitting in her bed and she's doing pretty good. She's making little Easter baskets for 40 people and filling them up. I stayed with her for a little while when she was sick one other time. Well, it was right in the middle of COVID, so it was not a fun time, but she was very sick, and I stayed with her for a while and helped her. And we made Easter baskets, and she went and gave them to her friends. You know, we just love getting things. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just the idea that somebody thought about us. And that's all that matters. Is that somebody reaches out and does something just because they thought about you. So whether it's a homemade gift or whether it's something they need. I think the world just needs to be a little more considerate of each other. And I think in general we are. I think it's just the few that aren't so nice that cause everything just kind of be rough for everybody else because they want their own way. It's just like a neighborhood. It's a nice, quiet neighborhood, and everybody's getting along and kind of minding their own business, doing their own thing, taking care of the things they care about. And this one person moves in with all their noise and all their stuff. And it takes a while to get them quieted down. Now we're going to go back over this with our yellow. First of all, I'm going to go over my highlighted spot to make sure, and I'm pressing down a little bit to burnish that in. I'm doing that so that other colors aren't going to stick to it, and I'm not going to lose my little highlights. Now I'm going to go and burnish kind of all of my areas with my light color. Now you can use a different kind of burnishes. These work well. You can dip these into different things to make things smoother. You can use, let me see if I can find one. There's one. This one I've almost used. These are Prisma no color burnishers. They actually are like a very hard rubber in there. These pencils, it's really short, so I'm using a pencil extender. You just stick it in there and twist it. But these don't put no color down. All you're doing is you're kind of done. Now, I'm not pressing that hard because I might want to come in and darken a few spots. But I'm just kind of coming in and going over. And actually it's pretty good. There's a few spots that there's some white showing up. And you could just keep going over it with your pencil, actually. A lot of people don't don't like to do this. They want to keep on until all the little white specks are taken up. But I like to do it this way sometimes. Sometimes it really makes it look soft and satiny. And it just kind of pushes your colors together too. It's just a different look. We all will find out different things that we like. You can use, I have some alcohol, colorless markers. I used them in the beginning, but it just seems like I don't use them much anymore. And they're kind of nice if you get used to them and you like them. And sometimes I do like them, especially if you're having a rough time getting them smoothed out. You can actually pull out the tip and fill it up with, let me see if I can find one to show you. I always forget which jar I put them in. Those are the markers. It might be in here. I think these are just all my gold pens and white pens. That's what happens when you start getting too many things. I think this is, that's a marker. Okay, let's see what this is. I have used it quite a bit. This one here has a different tip, and you always, no matter what you do, you want to make sure you get whatever color you used last off. But this one is by Duart. So the other one, this isn't the alcohol one, but it is also can be used that way. Wish I haven't used it that much like that. Let's see, it's got little dots. Let's see if I can see one with little dots. They all start looking alike. But it's an alcohol blender. All right, well, I can't. Let me see. Everything but that. Isn't that weird? I always think things are weird. There, let's see if that's the one I just pulled out, I think. Nope, I found it. Okay. This is Duart too. So you can see it's kind of wet. And if you pull out the end, it will, you can put alcohol down in there. I used a little dropper because it dried up pretty fast right away, and I thought, that's crazy. Pay that much money for that. But I don't know if it really smooths things. This is wax. So it will move your color around. So it's up to you, but those are choices to help you get going into getting your picture smoother. Let me clean my tip off a little bit here. So those are some choices. I know there's more. There's different ones that other people like even more. So now I want to come back in again, and I just want to deepen some of my highlights, because it will just cause this little guy to stand out more. And then we're going to come in with the gray. First, we're going to erase all the places where we've gotten over. This one isn't exactly, but it looks pretty darn good. So I want this side to be particularly darker because it is in the shade. It's your picture, and wherever the sun is where the sun is. But definitely underneath here, you know it's in the shade. So I just want to press harder and get that a little darker. And around this little mushroom here. And I'm liking that. Now, we can take, let's get Sierra Brown. And let's just deepen it just a little tiny bit more. Right around the edges. This is one thing you don't want to get too crazy about. But you see, we've put down how many layers now? We put down 3 layers, and then we went back over it again. So that's 6 layers. And then we went back over again with the, so you can see 7, 8 layers just on the base of this little guy to make him look beautified. So we're going to come down here, try to I think when Chris Cheng did this, she started out actually, and I wasn't thinking about it. She did her grays underneath here first, and then grayed her little popcorn parts. Now this we want to keep really close. We're just giving it a little under here. We want it to be darker. And I'm using brown because for me this is the color that all the other colors blend in with. And I want this darker around this little stovepipe. And you are going to get little chunks, especially now that you're getting, and I'm going to just barely get along the bottom of here. I don't want it to go up into the color. I just simply want it to, see how it's just barely starting to move up into that. And then we can take that orange again and blend this up just a little bit. So I just want to deepen it just a little bit more. And then we're going to come into taking care of our popcorn. So it's just kind of like you just keep coming back until you get it. where you say, I think I got it. But if you're not sure, stop and go on with something else. And then if when you get the picture done and you still think it needs more, then come back in and do it. But don't go too far. Do it to where it looks right to you. And then if it's not, it's so much easier to come back in and this takes off most of it. This little pencil sharpener has a, it's not battery, it's run on charging it back up with my computer or my phone jack, which makes it really nice. The other one was a battery operated, and after I got it, I realized that I picked the wrong one. You ever do that? You go on Amazon and you think you got the right thing and you pick the wrong one. No! Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's find our two. Okay, she used a 90% French gray, and she also used a 10% and a Sierra brown, I think. Yeah, because I pulled the colors for the red one, which we're going to do work on it tomorrow. So now we're going to take our darker color, and again, just a tiny bit, and you probably really want that sharp point on this one. So underneath, and you're not going to, you just want it just barely to come around the side. So this one is for underneath it, and then we will go up into the bottom of each one of these, and we're just making it to pop right off this page is really what we're doing. So we're just going to go underneath it and take care of it. See? Just the tiniest bit. And because this is such a dark color, and we really didn't get too close to the very, very edge of these, we still have plenty of tooth to come up in here underneath each one of these. I'm not going to go on the top. I don't want anything on the top. We just want to go maybe a little bit on the side, but definitely underneath. This one's kind of cattywampus, so we're just going to go a little bit that way. Because if we put it on the top, it's going to be too much. And it won't pop out like it's a piece of popcorn hanging off the side of this thing. So that's all we're going to do. And these are going to turn out beautiful. It's already pretty. I love this orange. And we did put a little extra when we went through with the darker color, which is fine. Because now we're just making it pop off. It's very, very intense work. Just relax. Don't let it get intense. And if you try to do something in too much of a hurry, it's not going to be fun. So just relax. Relax, be at peace. Let your mind just enjoy this little journey of each little thing that you paint. I always say they're paintings because it's kind of what it looks like to me. And I think, when you get this done, if you've never painted or did anything else, this just encourages you to, you've seen how to make the highlights, you're learning how to make things pop out. So if you wanted to do something a little bit in watercoloring or acrylics, you could trace these off. And either on, if you get the, I tell you, don't put it through the computer, because that is not color fast. You want to use a color fast pencil, not pencil, but marker. And all of these are color fast. This is a good brand. And I use, on this one, a 5. This is the most popular, I think, is these. And they are fade proof, waterproof. So make sure you use one of those. Wouldn't this be fun to even do for somebody's birthday and put it in a frame? Or because if you got lots of color books like I do, you've got lots of things to choose from. I bought that one book called 101 Flowers. Oh my gosh, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. But I finished some Morning Glories. And they're as big as the page. The page is at least an 8 by 10 probably. All the book is. The whole book, and it's thick. It's about that thick, and it was like $6, I think, $6.95. I was really surprised when I got it how thick it was. The paper's not real thick, like in Joanna's books or some of them, but it's still really nice. I did a good picture. I'll show that to you. We'll have to show you some of my books, some of my pictures. You know how you some things turn out beautiful and some things aren't so great. So now we're going to use this Sierra, which is not dark. We don't want it to be dark. What number is this? 1080. So I'm going to just barely hit some of the little corners of my popcorn spots on the bottoms, not the tops, on the bottoms, because we're shadowing. We want these little spots to show up like popping off the page. I think sometimes when you use that eraser, it sticks a little bit. But on white, this beige is going to be more than enough. So it's almost like you're just making a couple little circles. Just a couple little circles. Don't do too much. And it will be perfect. And you get all done. Just hit all the spots where you deepened underneath. Basically, is all you're doing. And you're not pressing hard. You're just making little circles. It's making little circles for me is the easiest to get it in a small area. They're already starting to pop out. And when you start getting the rest of your mushrooms done and everything else done, these little spots just pop. And then we're going to go over it a little bit with a pasta pen, or you could use anything white that you got that will cover it up or brighten up the white spots even more. Okay, now we're going to switch to just the 10% French gray, and we're just, let me sharpen it. I'm just, whoops, that was nice. Okay, try that again. So we're just going to go right on top of where we just did. And we're just going to kind of blend it in just a little bit. Don't go down into it, just on the very, 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 very edge. This should be just a quick little process here. We're just blending it in. It doesn't take long because we're just barely blending it and adding just a little tiny, tiny bit of color going up. Softening that edge of that brown. Okay, so there we are on that. Now let me get my white pasta pen. Guess it's Pasca. Give it a good little shake. And mine is already primed. So I'm just going to whiten those spots, mostly around the top. I don't want to go down into my shading. I got a little, oh, I left it on the page. I think the tip wears off a little bit. And you do have to be careful with these because if you go over it too many times, you can definitely take your paper right off of the surface. And sometimes I will go over these a couple of times, let it dry, and then go over it again. Just to give it that extra little white light effect. Once it dries, it kind of protects your paper, and you can go over it again. It's hard to tell at this point which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. But it covers right up any of the any place where I've come over and I didn't get it erased. But it is lightening it. And we will let this dry, and we'll go down to the stem. Because they are starting to pop up more and more. And I think on the other ones, actually, I covered up this black. Maybe that's why it's even more. Maybe we'll do that too. And then it won't look like it's an outline. Then when we come back over it again and give it a second coat, we can cover that up a little bit more. It doesn't appear to be showing through, but it probably will. But that's okay. We're patient. This is our time to just be at peace and rest and enjoy our little coloring book. In this case, my little picture. Everybody who sees these mushrooms just loves them. I had to learn how to do these. I thought these were so cool. And that's the fun part about everybody who's teaching. Except for I hate the music. Then you turn it off and it just seems so quiet. I want somebody to talk to me. And some people don't want anybody talking to them at all. It's one thing about YouTube, there's plenty of people that do things differently, and there's something for everybody. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, because I covered up these black lines, which is making it pop off the page. I watercolored these little mice years ago. They're so cute. I might find the pattern. I bet I still got it. Yeah, I think I do. I think I got it from my mom. Maybe I will turn them into a picture too. I think we were acrylic painting at that time, but I think I did mine in watercolors. I sent it to my sister. She says she still got it and she still uses it. They're still out. She thinks I was just wonderful, but you know, when you do things for yourself, you don't think you're so wonderful, do you? It just didn't quite turn out the way you thought it should in your mind. But I think I've heard more than one person say that on YouTube. not to judge yourself by anybody else. Color your picture, paint your picture. Whatever you do it, and you don't compare yourself with anybody else. I've gone to classes, and it was acrylic painting, but we were doing it as if it was a watercolor kind of thing. And while we're at class, everybody's pictures look better than yours. I don't care what happens. That just seems to be the thing. And then you get home and you forget about everybody else's and you think, this is really pretty. So you just have to love yourself and let yourself be creative and enjoy. Because you see those people who think their stuff is so beautiful, and it really, in your eyes, you're thinking, I don't know why you would even show that. But in their eyes, it's the most beautiful thing they've ever done. You know, in the beginning, when you first start doing things, it's like, this is so exciting. This is just so pretty. I just love it. And then what happens? You get better and better, and you think, wow, I have improved so much since that. Why did I think that was so beautiful? But I did. And because I did, I'm keeping it. You know, you just have to enjoy your life. Enjoy your days. Have life and have life abundantly. Now, are they not popping off that page? Did I not tell you they would pop off that page? They did. Yahoo! So, we're going to let those dry. And let's move into the stem part. So we're going to pick out some browns and move that pasta pen out of the way. Just to start with, we're going to use, I gotta read my colors here. I think this is the one that we start with. Okay, in case you didn't see it, it's 90% French gray, 1076. We're going to start up underneath this little guy here, because look how dark that is. So we want to just barely come in here, underneath here, and fill this in, right? Let's see. Okay, very lightly, very, very, very lightly. I'm going to come down a little bit. Okay, just to get started. Maybe down in here a little bit. Let me get a drink before. I think we get ourselves dehydrated. We get busy and we forget to drink something. So this is a dark brown. We're just going to go back over that a little bit. Pull this down just a little, because it's kind of shady underneath that mushroom on this little house. Wonder who lives here. Must be a bug. Little grasshopper. A little field mouse. You never know. But they left their front door open. Must be a nice, safe neighborhood. Okay, I'm going to switch to this red, kind of a Sierra brown, which has got a lot of red in it. I'm just going to go over all of this first, and then very lightly, I'm going to come down just on the side of it. I'm going to go into that. I just want to bring out just a little bit, very, very, very lightly around that shaded spot. I'm going to go back down over all this little bit of shading on the side, because it is kind of shaded on the sides. You know, whenever I've learned doing trees or trunks or anything, write it on a sticky note and save it, because when you come back to it, you're not sure what it is that you've done. So now we're going to go ahead and use the beige sienna, and we're going to go back into here. This is a little darker than I did the other one, but it'll be okay. I'm just going to go back over all of it, and I'm going to come down into the center. And start coming out. And I think I kind of got off on those other ones using different colors than what I'm using. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going to go down the center here and off to the side here with this very light. This is a dark brown. I don't want to use that. Oh, I'm going to use this reddish brown, Sierra brown, and go very, very, very lightly across the center and back up. And out into the sides. Bring the color in. And just keep working on it. Where to go here? Okay. And we'll take our light gray. We're going to kind of burnish and blend it together. And then we'll just kind of make it all come together. And it softens it to where it almost looks like a mushroom stem. I think I used a different color on the other one, but this will work just fine. keep working it. Keep pulling it. See, it turns into a mushroom stem very, very easily. And I think, let's see. I'm going to go for another medium kind of color. Let's see. Let's try this one. Very lightly in here. Still a little dark, but just around the door. Around the top of the window. And burnish this one in too. Down the side. That looks pretty good. Looks like a mushroom stem to me. We're just going to highlight around the door, under the window. Get it up underneath there. And then we're going to take a little bit of brown and go around this window. Soften it. Do this one here. And we're going to soften that one. Okay. We're going to take our yellow. Let's make sure we get all the crumbs out of it. We're going to put a light on in the window. A light on in the doorway. And I always like to take a little bit of orange and just do kind of a catty corner so this makes it look like it's a glow in there. Anyway, that's what I like to do. And then I'm going to take my brown, the Sierra brown, and I just want to go and reinforce the side again. Just a little bit. Just to make it pop out. Okay, so now we got to do our little stairs. And I think I'm going to go across it very lightly, a little darker on the edge. And we'll come back in and soften that out. Okay. Maybe we'll just use our yellow. I don't want to go all the way to the edge, which is fine because then it gives that little bit of highlight. Okay. Better do the little bit of floorboard here. I'm just going to touch the edge. So the step pops out just a little bit more. And I think for today, maybe we should do the little pipe first. Okay. I think for today, we're going to, when I put them together, the two videos, it's going to be over an hour. So for today, this is our little mushroom. Let me show you. Let's see if you can see this one versus that one. So they're really, really close. I did this in a little bit different color because I don't remember exactly what color I used on these, but I can figure that out. So for today, blessings. If nobody's told you today, I love you.